everyone was able to get into the main part of the building and those who couldn't leave. At the moment, in fact, I have seen David Plunkett, former Cabinet Minister, just walk past me. Small numbers of people are now being moved to other parts of the building because it is quite swampy here. There are lots of people, it's very hot. Some of the older members and also visitors are sitting down on the benches provided while we wait to hear exactly what is going to happen next and when it's going to happen. But yes, lockdown and suspension.
Joe Coburn, thank you very much for that update. And just to bring you a little bit more information from the Metropolitan Police, we're asking people to avoid the following areas: Parliament Square, just outside Parliament, Whitehall, Westminster Bridge, Lambeth Bridge and Victoria Street, up to Embankment Tube. This, they say, is to allow the emergency services to deal with the ongoing incident. Officers, including firearms officers, remain on the scene, and Metropolitan Police say that they are treating this as a terrorist incident until they know otherwise.
They're also appealing for anyone with photos or film of the incident to pass them on to police. Well, Parliament itself was sitting at the time these events unfolded. This is the moment the Deputy Speaker, Lindsay Foyle, suspended the House of Parliament.
Order! I am now going to suspend the sitting of the House. This House is now suspended, but please wait here.
That's what happened. Let's hear from former BBC political correspondent Labour press officer Don Bryn, who explained what he saw when he walked past the area as it happened.
I was walking through between the main Commons and Portcullis House, where all the offices are. There's a sort of walkway that goes underneath Big Ben, and there's the main yard onto the street. As I was walking through, I was aware of some kind of rushing around of people, and then I heard a shot. When I looked very close to the gate, there was a person clad in kind of dark clothing lying on the ground with somebody pointing what I assumed to be a gun at him. A little way away, there was somebody in a high-vis jacket who I assumed to be a policeman on the ground, but he appeared to be conscious and talking to somebody. And then very quickly we were all shooed in, get inside, shouted the security people, and that's really the end of my being an eyewitness.
Well, the Daily Mail's political sketch writer Quentin Letts could also see the area from his office.
Yeah, I work in an office which overlooks New Palace Yard, just below Big Ben, and I have a desk just by the window. And we heard this sound like a car crash, and right in the middle of it was happening. A lot of members of the public running down the pavement, some of them screaming, shouting. And then we saw a thick-set man in black clothes come through the gates where people would normally drive cars into New Palace Yard. New Palace Yard is just below Big Ben. And this man had something in his hand. It looked like a stick of some sort. And he was challenged by a couple of policemen in yellow jackets, and one of the yellow-jacketed policemen fell down. And we could see the man in black moving his arm in a way that suggested he was either stabbing or striking the yellow-jacketed policeman. And one of the policemen then ran to get help, which was very, very quick to come. And as this attacker was running towards the entrance used by MPs to go into the House of Commons, as he was running, he ran about, I'd say 15 yards perhaps. Two plainclothes guys with guns shouted at him, uttered what sounded like a warning. He ignored it, and they shot 2 or 3 times, and he fell. And that's what we saw.
So, Quentin, your account has just been corroborated by the Commons leader David Lidington, who's told MPs that a police officer has been stabbed and the alleged assailant was shot by armed police following what he called a serious incident within the parliamentary estate. So that would seem to tally entirely with what you've just described.
Yes, and the ambulance has now arrived. The helicopter ambulance has arrived and landed in Parliament Square, and there is work being done, particularly on somebody I can't quite see, but I think that is the policeman.
Well, this is the moment police first arrived on the scene after this incident had been reported. You can see there on the road in front of the palace a man being attended to by police. This is the scene live now, still the area in lockdown. Nick Robinson, our colleague, of course, state presenter, former political editor, is in Westminster. Nick, what are you hearing?
Well, I'm only about 200 yards from Big Ben, just overlooking Westminster Bridge, and arrived just after the incident. But as I did so, I bumped into a group of extremely traumatised French teenagers who were here on a trip for a week. One of them described to me what had happened on the bridge, how he saw a car drive into what he thought was 2 or 3 of the people with him. Many people too upset, crying too much to talk. So I'm in shock, Simon. So I passed one person lying on the pavement, covered in one of those metallic blankets that you see after the marathon, to try and warm someone up to deal with the shock they were facing. He described not just seeing a car drive into some of the party of French school children, he also described some stabbing, 2 people he thought he'd seen. I can't corroborate any of these details, I merely pass on what he said to me, and also the sound of shots as the police dealt with the attackers. Now, he didn't see the attackers, couldn't describe the attackers, but there was a party, I think, coachload probably of French young people, deeply traumatised, deeply upset, and concerned, of course, for the health and the safety, for the well-being of those they trusted.
Nick, you used the word attackers. We're aware of one person apparently bursting into the palace yard and being shot by armed police. Is there a suggestion there may still be somebody else that they're looking for?
Well, again, Simon, let me stress, I arrived here after the scene. I've read and seen and heard fewer details than you have, but what I can describe is simply what I've been told, which is these young people are on Westminster Bridge, the bridge, for those who know it, which goes over the River Thames from Big Ben on the one side to the Millennium Wheel on the other. And they were traumatised by what they'd seen, and they described an attack on the bridge. In other words, not an incident on Palace Yard, which is within the behind the fenced, the secure area, if you like, of the Houses of Parliament, but an incident that happened on the bridge in which a car seemed to have driven, we assume deliberately, of course we don't know, but driven into people on the bridge. Now, the reason I can't give you more detail is the police have established a cordon about 200 yards away from the end of that bridge. Kate is there, journalists, onlookers, eyewitnesses have all been pushed back. The bridge itself does have 1 or 2 people walking on it, but it is curiously frozen in time. Normally one of the busiest bridges in London, cars and buses coming to and fro. Now instead, each stationary. The solitary sound, the sound of a helicopter, police helicopter overhead, and the sound of police sirens. Just able to hear in the background here the sight of many, many flashing blue lights, and also of the security staff, police and ambulances, making their way across the bridge, trying to deal with those who are injured and also deal with anybody who knows what's happened.
And Nick, we're talking in nature of 2 very different crime scenes. One you described, a public bridge used by French students, and then of course this incident within the confines of the Palace of Westminster, one of the most closely guarded buildings in this country.
Yes, indeed, and both are serious in their own way. Let me stress again, Simon, I've just arrived, I can't corroborate things, I can just tell you what I've been told, and as is the way with incidents of these sorts, some of what I tell you will turn out to be accurate. Inevitably some bits will be corrected later in time, but it does look as though there's been an incident on Westminster Bridge that, rather like we heard about in Germany, with a lorry being driven into people, rather like we've heard in other cities as well, as if a vehicle has been used as a weapon, deliberately targeted at people. stress once again, that has to be confirmed. I can't see evidence of that from here. But a young man, barely able to compose himself, and those who were with him, that is what they described to me. But you're quite right to stress, that would be serious in itself for this capital city, although tragically not a huge surprise for people who saw what had happened in other cities. What will shock and surprise is that someone managed to get through Westminster's enhanced security system carrying any sort of weapon. Any visitor, people who go to that building as a tourist or to see their member apartment, goes through airport-style security. In other words, one of those arches that checks for weapons, and you may indeed have a body search as well. Pass holders, journalists like me, members of parliament, they don't need that sort of security check. So one of the first questions that will be asked once this immediate crisis has been dealt with is, how did this individual make it through? Did he get through somehow the security system, or was he able to bypass it by accessing a pass? When there have been security incidents in the past in Westminster, in the palaces of Westminster, much less serious, of course, but you may remember Tony Blair was hit by someone throwing purple powder from the gallery of the House of Commons. In those cases, it has almost always turned out that they had access to a security pass by lying about who they were and what they were up to. Those are questions I suspect for another day, as London as a country comes to terms with what seems to be an extraordinarily serious terrorist attack.
Nick Robertson, thank you very much. Just in the White House says President Donald Trump has reported on this incident at the UK Parliament building.
Got a statement from the London Ambulance Service, the Deputy Director of Operations, Pauline Cranmer, saying that they were called at 2:40 p.m. this afternoon to Westminster Bridge to reports of an incident, with the first crew arriving within 6 minutes. She says a number of resources have been sent to the scene, including ambulance crews, London's air ambulance, and their hazardous area response team. They're working closely with other members of the emergency services at the scene. They've declared a major incident, and they also say, as they're very busy dealing with this incident, they would ask the public to only call in a genuine emergency. We can go now to our Home Affairs correspondent, Dominic Casciani, who is, I think, near Westminster Bridge. Dominic, what can you tell us?
Yeah, hi. I'm probably about as close as you can get to Westminster Bridge on the embankment. So I'm actually overlooking the old county hall. Looking towards the bridge and the palace, and the police line in front of me, which has just been pushed back a few metres, armed officers in front of me. A lot of police vehicles, which I'm sure you can pick up already from the helicopter. We've spoken to someone who was fairly close eyewitness, was very shook up by what he saw. He was out of his office and said he basically heard an awful lot of commotion and saw a man running, and then heard shots. And I think in fairness to the young man, he's actually in a little bit of shock at the moment. A lot of people down here really don't know what's going on. We saw a young lady a few minutes ago having what appeared to be some kind of seizure, which was unrelated to what's going on in the bridge. But, I think it's pretty clear that it's a panic attack, so clearly a lot of people are concerned. Everything is, however, calm on this side. The police have effectively taken control of this area. They've created a cordon sanitaire from the palace down. So from my position, I'm looking back towards Portcullis House, the MP's offices, and the palace. There's effectively a sterile zone there. At the top of that zone, we can see a number of unmarked police cars, effectively investigators' cars, which have arrived. That would indicate to me, based on our experience with these kind of things, that they feel they've got a degree of control over the environment. They wouldn't put investigators in at this stage if this was still effectively arguably a live instance. Although, you know, I'm speculating a little bit there about exactly what's going on. We can see officers patrolling the bridge at the moment, ambulances at the bottom end by St Thomas's Hospital. So from our position, things are looking pretty calm now. Then effectively the Scotland Yard operation to lock down an area once an incident of this kind of nature or special measures happen. Once that incident has happened, they have a plan to effectively lock it down. In some respects, it's very strange the fact that this has all happened literally within view of the new Scotland Yard headquarters right here on the river.
Okay, Dominic, many thanks. Dominic Casciani there.